Lentor Garden Residences. Who is for and who is not for? My clients, a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 of them have chosen to buy Lentor Hills Estate area. But why did they do so? Want to find out more? You've got to watch this. Alright, so hi everyone, this is Strata and welcome back to my video once again. So today, before we go into the specifications of the land price, sale price, expected launch price and so on, we want to understand a bit more about the Lentor Hills Estate as a whole. So if you take a look at the Lentor map over here, this is Lentor MRT. We have a couple of plots. So up front here, we have Lentor Modern, which is the first project here, residential with commercial. Okay, then we have second property that came out was Lentor Hills Residences. Third, we have Hillock Green, which is over here, Hillock Green. Then after Hillock Green, we had Lentoria, which is the plot over here, Lentoria. After Lentoria, we had Lentor Mansion and then Lentor Central Residences. Now, right after Lentor Central Residences, Lentor Gardens Residences. Okay, it's worth mentioning that at this point in time, there are plots that has not yet been sold but are also zone residential in the area that you might want to be aware of. So Lentor is a pretty much mature area today, no longer like a very early first mover advantage when Lentor Modern and Lentor Hills was announced. But that being said, back to where we are, here is Lentor Gardens. Here there's one more plot, another Lentor Central. At this point in time, it's worth noting that these Lentor Gardens, the land price is about $920 PSF PPR. On the other hand, the latest Lentor Central plot over here, the PSF PPR is about $1,278 PSF PPR. The latest Lentor Central land that was bidded and awarded is already 38.9% higher in land price compared to Lentor Garden Residences. And that brings me to the very first pointer for Lentor Gardens Residences, and that is its low entry price. Okay, now next we want to find out what is its estimated starting launch price. So to do this, we simply need to calculate, adding your miscellaneous costs, marketing, construction, legal, professional, so on and so forth. We will have an estimated break-even of $1,709 PSF BPR. At around 10% profit margin, the developer will be selling the launch prices from around $1,879 PSF. At 20% profit margin, the project will start from around $2,050 PSF. 30% $2,221, 40% $2,392, 50% $2,563. Now then, let's reference Lentor Central, which achieved 93% sales at an average of $2,200 PSF. This would mean that if we price Lentor Gardens at $2,200 PSF, we will be expecting around a 30% developer profit margin. Although, if you watch one of my previous videos, where we discussed more about the fourth quarter 2025 projects, we noticed that many of the projects, the percentage above break-even cost was actually even up to 36 to 52%. And this includes projects like Faber Residences, Sky at Holland, and Penreef. So what does this mean? If you ask me, the starting price can well start from around $2,000 PSF BPR and then start to go up gradually. As you know, when you buy the project gets taken up more, maybe say 50% sale, and as more and more stocks get taken up, developer will stage and increase the prices accordingly. It's of course better that you get a better number that is ahead of the queue lah. Okay, then the next thing is when Lentor had many of the supply that you see in the area, one of the main concerns, right, that I always get from my clients when I bring them there, right, is that they say, oh, like that, is there a supply issue or not? So many Lentor projects, how to self-finish? But today, when you look at the area, almost fully sold, almost no stock. This area has already been proven that take-up rate is there. But of course, if you're still really concerned, right, when you want to sell and exit in the future, right, TOP, will there be a lot of supply? Yes and no. They TOP at different timings. Those that are built launched earlier get built finished earlier, and likely TOP earlier will sell first. But keep in mind that the completion of the TOP units that are going into the resale market are going to be staggered. Okay. However, if you're really scared and concerned that there are too many units here, right, and maybe you buy it, you cannot sleep, right, then this project is not for you. So now next we are going to talk about the specifications. This is a 99-year condo, District 26. Site area is around 222,000 square feet, decently sized. Maximum GFA is about 466,000 square feet, which brings us to a total proposed number of units residential to be 499. Total number of blocks, 4. We have 3 blocks of level 16, 1 block of level 8 residential flats, and 3 units of 2-story strata house. Now you may ask, why got 3 units of 2-story strata house? And the reason is simple. You may not find it explained in many places, but here is why. When you look at the plan of this area, we have the facing whereby we are looking at the future linear park, and then in the center over here is the future Hillock Park. Where we are facing the future linear park, this area, the line, the maximum height control is a 5-story. Okay, and then over here, the big square area, maximum height is 8-story. And then here, the smaller square, maximum height is 16-story. So because of this, right, I believe that they have a choice of whether to put 5-story building here or maybe to come up with a special unique selling point, which I think that choosing to put a strata landed house there is actually a pretty good idea. Meanwhile, when you buy into this also, you can expect that the area here facing the Hillock Park will not have a side gate because side gate is not allowed to be built there. And if it rains, you have to take the shelter walk which goes down towards Lentor Mansion and then take the long way to go to the MRT. If no rain, you can cut through the green finger, go through Hillock Park and go to the MRT. So this is one thing to take note if you're buying here, whether it's yourself or your tenant. Okay, but that sums it up for Lentor Hills Estate, okay, this area. On the north, you have the Lentor landed area. On the south, you have the Teachers Estate. On the left, right, which is the west area, you have the B1 Industrial. Okay, and on the right, we have a mix of condo and HDB areas. So once again, Lentor Hills Estate, why people like it, or eventually as the buildings get built up more, you will see that it is almost essentially an exclusive condo township over there. And you can expect a lot of greenery. This is one of the main points of the living in this area. The developer is Kingsford. Now, when it comes to the unit type breakdown, we have a total of 252 units that are 2-bedders, 139 units 3-bedder, 105 units 4-bedder, terrace 3 units, shop 3 units. So we have 3 shops there. Okay, how big are the 2-bedders? Ranging from 60 to 68 square meter, about 645 square feet, all the way to 68, which is about 731 square feet. And noting that this is a post-harmonized. That means if you are currently living in an older condo, and if you were to compare it to an older condo layout, you would want to probably add a 5% to the size of the floor plate. And therefore, if it's 731 square feet, you will be expecting that last time if you buy the condo, they will indicate 768 square feet. Okay, so over here, 3-bedder is about 81 square meter, which is around 871 square feet, to 94 square meter, which is about 1011 square feet. Pretty decently sized for 3-bedder. And for 4-bedder is 110 square meter, which takes us to around 1184 square feet, to 126 square meter, which is about 1356 square feet. Pretty sizable. Okay, and we have the terrace. Terrace will be 139 square meter, which you convert to square feet, you have about 1496 square feet, almost 1500 square feet. And last but not least, the shops. Shops, maybe if you're buying for as a resident, not too important because you're not staying in it, but just for information, it's about 462 square feet. So overall in this project, we have 50.2% 2-bedders, and the remainder are the rest, the 3-bedder, 4-bedder, terrace, and inclusive of the 3 shops as well. So 499 is exclude the 3 shops. If you include the shops, we have 502 units. But residential side of things, 499 residential units. So you see, clear-cut is for a mix of investor and ownstay. And as Singaporeans' birth rates start to be lower, 2-bedder can also increasingly be more for ownstay. Although this area is also good for rentability if you want to rent out because there's an MRT not too far away. Okay, in terms of school, we have 1 km CHIJ Saint and Anderson Primary, 1 to 2 km for Mayflower Primary and Ang Mo Kio Primary School. Okay, this is the artist impression of the condo, and up front, I take a look at it, I think it gives me a very airy vibe. Another thing is that if you notice between the 2 buildings, which on the right you have 2 blocks of level 16 and on the left you have 1 block of level 16, there is a somewhat 30 meters of a gap between, and this is to promote air ventilation, airflow throughout from the condo into the Hillock Park area and so on, because they did some studies. The way that the buildings have been situated is purposefully designed so that there's good ventilation. Some condos, right, you may notice the design may not be so open, so airy, and more enclosed. This one, you will feel that it's more open, and I will also presume that it's more well ventilated with quite a good fair bit of wind based on the studies that they've done. Okay, so with this, I hope this has been helpful for you. Of course, there are brochures that are available for download. I'll include my WhatsApp over here and in the description below. If you want a free copy of the brochure and the floor plans, drop me a WhatsApp and I'll be happy to send them to you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Once again, this is Joshua Tan and I'll see you around.